What will be on the, because I mean, you talked about audio visuals, but the example you gave was about music.
No, I was talking about the absorption of audio visuals, which was what our survey told us about kids as young as 2.5 years. I was trying to tell you the essence of audiovisuals.
No, I'm asking, I mean, we all know the essence of audiovisuals. If you have cousins, little nieces, children, and you've exposed them to some songs, however foreign or, local,
it sticks.
You find out that children are able to recite, even if it's the, 1, 2, 3, ABC,
it's
put in form of song, you find that children learn faster.
That's right.
And they're able to sing it. It helps them in exams.
Absolutely.
It works at any level, even through secondary school.
Absolutely.
Now, the question is, what will be the content of the audio-visual?
My dear, when you were in school, or when I was in school, we used to buy a syllabus of what you're going to do. Every subject, every nuance, whatever it is you're going to see in your examination, it's in there. What you're going to be taught, it's in there. It's part of the policy of the Federal Ministry of Education and the State Ministry of Education that there is a curriculum that the teachers will teach in the class. That is the curriculum they have to look into, bring in the eggheads, the professors, teachers, and educationists, and let them produce these DVDs for us so that we can hand them out to our kids and make them better kids.
The content of what will be in it, that's what I'm asking. Is it the entire syllabus?
No, the teaching materials. The teaching materials, there is, like I said, there is a curriculum, there is a syllabus for grade school 1 or KG. There is a DVD for that. KG 2, there's a DVD for that.
Are we scrapping classrooms?
We're not. We're making it better. Of what use is your textbook? You don't leave your textbook in a classroom, do you? You take your textbooks home. So you might as well take your DVD home. The DVD keeps you abreast of what is happening, because you can do it at your own pace.
You have to be able to play the DVD.
My dear, these days, everybody plays DVDs. A DVD player, a used one, costs about $2,000. In a country of 170 million, I can tell you there are over 100 million TV sets in Nigeria. If you want to talk about power too, I will tell you people find ways around it. And even a DVD comes in better. There are television stations that come up with all these kiddie programs that teach you A, B, C, D in like Malbedu said. But all you need to do with your DVD, you need not wait for NEPA. When NEPA comes on, you're in class.
And that's another area where Education Ministry should focus on developing programs, educational programs. I mean, look at people writing in here saying some grew up on Sesame Street, even though they worked on community primary schools, those kind of things. Are we focusing on any of those?
You see, the problem is, there was a time some of these media houses said, okay, they were going to imbibe the element of Sesame Street and this and that. But unfortunately, those are programs that have fixed hours. Unfortunately, if there's no power, you're out of it. But with the DVD of the same content, you can do it at your own pace. But at the same time, honestly, I would prefer us looking at these things from the baseline route. And another thing that comes to mind is what happens in, I'll use Lagos as a typical example because I live in Lagos and I'm a Lagosian. The way we bring up the kids is a problem. Again, I'll throw this to the captain of his class, my brother Fashola. We are beginning to lose the element of ethics in education.
The element of what? Ethics?
Ethics. When you went to school, you either went to a local community school or to a religious-based school, either St. Agnes or Zumratu Islamiyah. Those are names you can relate to. But these days, one thing that sets us as a tangent is the kind of names schools bear. And in Africa, as Africans, the name is the beginning of whatever you are going to become. In Lagos, for example, there are some schools with names that sound like street gangs. So how on earth will that kid grow up and say, what school did you go to? And the kid tells you the name of the school. What did you say? Because the name sounds like a street gang. the kid will eventually behave as such, in quote. You don't have the element of something that belongs to you, like a Baptist academy, a St. Fimbers, or a Zumratu Islamia.
But what are we in getting solutions to all of this? Are we supposed to wait on the leaders to do all of this? Because what we see are leaders, in some cases, who after the proceeds share all of those. I look at that, you have figures, as someone reminding us now, where you have about 10.5 million children out of school.
Yes,
that continues for a while. If they're not back to school, the problem may soon burst. Are we supposed to sit back and wait for them, or
we will not? We will not. We will not. Our kind of projection says one thing: the kids that cannot be in school, I pray to God they have cousins, nephews, or uncles that have access to DVD players that can access these DVD tapes that were disc that we're talking about, so that they can have a little bit of intelligence or education being imbibed in them. We pray that it happens. More so, we all can be ministers. We all can be commissioners. But the best we can do is what we're doing right now. I ran an inference to 2 people at to Fashola. I am sure the guy will do something about it. I am running another inference to Shekarau, who's an educationist. Because the policy, the big-time policy, starts from the Federal Ministry of Education. But unfortunately, they've disappointed me because lately they were busy buying textbooks for schools. Can you beat that? Federal Ministry of Education, a policy-making body, buying textbooks and tables and chairs for schools.
Well, if they had to intervene at that level, can you blame them?
My dear, there has to be a drop-down. States, LGs, they see the schools more. Abuja don't see nothing. You're supposed to make policies. This is what we want to do. This is how you should do it. And then you go about having inspectors to see if these things are going on. There are some state ministry of education that are better than the Federal Ministry of Education.
Now, if the fear, because we do know that monies, are there, as you rightly pointed out, they have tons of money. They even pointed that out, and they're wondering why no one is accessing them.
Can you beat
if it's
that?
Gotten to that level?
Can you beat that?
Would you really blame them for intervening by buying textbooks and what have you?
You see, the thing is, they are trying to do someone else's job.
Let's not forget that the federal government still owns schools. Many of the unitary schools are still on.
How many are they? How many are there in comparison to other schools that are private-owned or state-owned? They're doing less than 10% of the schools in Nigeria. 10%. So who should carry the day?
They're schools nonetheless.
Say that again.
Yeah, they're schools nonetheless. They are schools.
Oh, sure. Agreed. But the thing is, the major factor of the schools belong to the private sector, the states, and the LGs. And as such, we should be looking at that, my dear. But the bottom line is, for God's sake, let's look at a situation where we take care of education, which is primary and secondary ab initio. And honestly, I can tell you, in the next 6 years, if we toe the line of Truth Be Told Network, we're going to see a drastic change in what is happening. Another thing I want to tell you, some people don't like this. But it goes to buttress the fact that you achieve education at those two, the 633 level. The richest people on earth, 4 out of the 5 richest people on earth had their education from the primary through secondary. They did not finish their specialization in tertiary institutions, which goes to buttress the fact that you get educated primary and secondary education. If you make it to the junior class, that is junior class is 300 level in Nigeria, and you drop out of school, your education level is school cert. So in other words, I'm telling you that the 4 of the 5 richest men on earth are educated via primary and secondary education, which I guess is something we should imbibe in Nigeria. Chekarau and Fashola, I'm throwing you a truthful challenge. Let's see you do something about this.
Okay, and that's where we'll end it because, I mean, education is important. We all cannot be
Highly
politicians.
important, highly important.
Thank you for coming on Bola Bakara today on Sunrise Daily. We'll be back after this break. Join us again.